You know, if your goal is to travel down the road of success, all of the seminars, classes, and books that you read won't make a difference if you don't daily practice success. Our next guest says you don't have to make sweeping changes in your life to see results. Just a conscious effort of at least 60 seconds per day can help with your progress. So here to share a few of his principles is Ed Smith, the author of 60 Seconds to Success. Welcome, Ed.
Well, hi. Glad to be here.
60 seconds.
That's all it takes.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that because I'm thinking we've got about, I don't know, 9 sets of 60 seconds here, so make me successful. Seriously.
You're on your way. Yep.
Tell me, what would you say the first thing that people can do to begin to be successful in their lives?
Probably the first thing to do is really decide what success is for yourself. Because, surprisingly enough, most people really don't have an idea about what success is for them. They've gotten their idea of success from somebody in school, their parents, somebody on the job, whatever, but it's kind of imposed on them.
And defined for them.
Yes, yes. And so, there's an expression, success is getting what you want, but happiness is getting what you get, you know?
Ah.
Yeah, you see, because there's a lot of people in the world who we would say from the outside are successful, but on the inside they're not. They don't feel happy.
Right.
So it's really an individual thing, and it's not all about how much money you have, although if you have some extra,
it never hurts.
Yeah, it's not a
I
bad
wouldn't
thing.
complain.
I'm not anti-money by
Right.
any means. But the key thing is it's an internal thing. There's been a lot of research done on happiness, and it's actually a big thing in the School of Psychology now. And what they found is, for instance, there's hardly any relationship between how happy you are and the amount of money you make. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So the first step really is to define your success and don't leave happiness out of that equation.
Right. 'Cause that's
And
what it's all
define
about.
it yourself.
You got it.
All right. So after they find out what they really want to do, then what?
Change it into a plan. What you want to do is, goal setting kind of puts a lot of people off, but I recommend you turn it into goals. And just a lot, like I say, a lot of people get afraid if you say, well, I'm not the goal setting type, I really can't do that. Let me give you an example of how people set goals and they meet them every day, but they don't give themselves credit for it.
It makes me think of, I'm going to brush my teeth this morning.
Well, yeah, that's kind of it. It's got such a negative spin. But
Really?
think about the time there was a television show you wanted to watch. In your mind, you set a goal. Hey, I'm going to be in front of my television set at 8 o'clock. Now, of course, with TiVo and stuff, we don't have to worry about that anymore. But, with that kind of thing. But let's say, for instance, somebody wanted to watch a television show at 8 o'clock. They would reorganize their whole life around getting into that, in front of that television set at 8 o'clock. They'd set up a little plan, what they had to do, work all around it, and bingo, they'd do it.
That's interesting because, of course, when you think about that in that way, you realize how inane it almost seems.
Yeah.
Because is that television show a key ingredient to success in your life?
That's
And
all.
yet you're rearranging your whole day.
Boy, that's a whole other story. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But so what I say to people is, turn it into a goal, but don't be afraid of the title goal. And that just turns a lot of people off. And start to take the steps of, well, this is what I want to do to be successful and and happy. And then break it down into little pieces and take it down and down and down. So you have little steps you can take. You can measure, did I do this or did I do that?
And I know you're a strong proponent of writing it down.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. What they found is that something happens in the brain that the fact that you actually write it etches it right into the brain. It's much more powerful by the fact that you typing it on your computer doesn't work. Taking your fingers out there and writing it out, that's what works.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's huge.
Oh, even taking that extra step.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about positive thinking?
Huge.
Yeah.
There's a couple things to positive thinking, and we could spend all day talking about positive thinking, but the focus in your life and what you look for in your life is huge. Let me give you an example. Let's take 10 seconds, okay?
Okay.
And I'm going to give you a quiz. I want
you
to, yeah, here you go. Yeah.
Okay.
I want you to look around the room. I'm going to give you 10 seconds and look for everything in the room that's red.
Okay.
Red, 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 red. Red, 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 red. Okay. Now close your eyes, okay?
Okay.
Now, what did you see that was blue?
That's not fair. You asked me to notice everything that was red.
Now, see,
Are you stumping me?
now, isn't that cool? See, what that teaches us is that we only see what we look for.
Sure.
Now, we have a choice as we go through the day. We can look for the good, or we can look for the bad. And now the red was there, and the blue was there. It's
Sure,
not that-
now I feel surrounded by blue. I'm looking at all the blue and going, well, I have blue glasses.
Yeah. But the point is, we have control, and our mind is such that we only see what we're looking for.
Sure.
And so if we're looking for the good, that's what we're going to see. I'll give you a funny little story that I love. Fortune tellers. Fortune tellers, I'm not advocating fortune tellers, but they're very good at what they do. Because let me give you an example about focus. If you walk into a fortune teller and the fortune teller says, hey, how's it going? What kind of a day you have? Well, and you sit there and you say, oh, terrible day, I had a flat tire coming over, and you won't believe I lost my dog, and on and on. Everything, you give them this big list. The fortune teller's going to look at her ball and say, oh, you ain't seen nothing yet. Boy,
Oh, my.
you're going to be lucky if you don't hit the hospital on the way home. And she'll rattle off all these terrible things that are going to happen to you, and she'll be right. You know why she's right? It's because that's all you're going to see. All the good stuff in your life, you're not going to see.
So you create the positivity around you.
Exactly. It
doesn't sound that hard.
It isn't. You know, all you have to do is look for it. It's right there, and it's not. I'm not negating the bad.
Right.
It's just a matter of what you look for. And another thing is the way we kind of shoot ourselves in the foot is that we bring in all this negative imaging and information. Let's take, for instance, what do most people do? The first thing when they get up in the morning is they reach over and they turn on the television set. And what do they see? Bad news. Right? Now, a lot of people have their televisions in their bedrooms, and the last thing they do before they go to sleep for the night, watch the news. Okay. Now it's naturally it's mostly bad news, and by the way, it's no accident that all the drug firms advertise on the news.
That's interesting in and of itself, but
right. You know, I mean, you're ready for all of those drugs after you watch the news. You know? And so that's the way the typical person starts the day, and that's the way they end the day.
That's true. So what would you suggest?
I say take 3 minutes of gratitude. When you get up in the morning and when you go to bed at night, just sit there, lay there, whatever, and think about, just for 3 minutes, everything that was good in your day. And sometimes it's a stretch, I'll grant you that. But sometimes you might have to say this week or even this month, you know.
Sure.
But you have 3 minutes of gratitude, and you won't believe the glow that will come over you.
So it really changes the way you perceive things?
It even changes your physiology. You actually feel different. It's like, all I can say is it's a glow that comes over you.
So start and end your day on a positive note.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
That's a good tip as well. Now, you say that people play the cards that they've been dealt in order to be successful. That's what they need to do.
Yes.
But isn't that kind of encouraging people to sell themselves short?
Well, it could be if they stop right there. If they're fatalists about it, if they say, okay, I've got what I got and that's it. But let's say, for instance, to use a card game as an analogy. In a card game, you get a certain hand, and what do? You try to take your hand and you build it. You get new cards.
Sure.
And you try to get a better hand. Or on the other hand, if you've got a terrific hand, you stay with what you have. So what happens to most people, and many people, is they tend to get in this negative spin. If only I had been taller, if only I had been born rich, and they discount what they have, and they don't spend any time doing an inventory about where can I go from here with what I have. And that, you really have to do that. If you have a business, you have to do that, and you have to do it in your personal life. You have to build with what you have.
And so you might have always wanted that full house, and you'll miss the flush.
You got it. I'm not playing cards with you.
The book is 60 Seconds to Success.